Splice, a sci-fi horror movie from 2009 that is very, very disturbing. Now, if you have ever seen this movie, you probably already know exactly what I'm going to talk about. Yeah, this movie is very disturbing. It's about a human animal hybrid that they create and raise. And yeah, Drin, I think that's what it's called, is very, very, very disturbing to look at throughout the many phases of its life. Yeah. But that's not what traumatized me. No, about this movie, no. And like I said before, if you've ever seen this movie, you know exactly what I'm about to talk about. It was one particular scene. And yes, it was that scene. The love scene. Yeah. That particular scene. That scene was so disturbing, graphic, highly sexual, of course, and just overall haunting and disturbing and traumatizing for me to watch. Yeah. And I can't even show you like 5 seconds of an example of this scene because yeah, it's really, really disturbing and graphic and sexual, and yeah, and that's a big no-no on YouTube, so yeah, I can't show you that. I can, though, show you some tame, not safe for work screenshots from that particular scene. Yeah. That might give you a little bit of an example of what I'm talking about. And if you've seen this movie or even heard of it, you're probably already aware, fully aware of what this scene is and how fucking disturbing and traumatizing it is to watch. And yeah, this scene in particular just haunted me. It haunted my fucking dreams. It stayed with me. It stuck in my brain and never really wanted to come out. And yeah, it kind of just stayed with me for way too long, and yeah. And what's particularly traumatizing about it is when I actually watched this movie, the time period where I actually watched this movie. See, I watched this movie when I was the tail end of my teenage years, you know. I was still a teenager, between teenager and young adult, that sort of thing. You know, and you're still kind of, you know, all about hormones and sex. So, yeah. And that's kind of what your mindset is for a little while during those years. And, yeah. And because of that, and because how highly disturbing, graphic, and sexual this scene is, it kind of, you know, kind of really, really stuck with me, and it really kind of almost ruined, you know, thinking about sex for me. Like, it kind of, I know this is going to sound weird, but I couldn't really go back to, like, watching porn because of this scene, because every time I try to, like, watch, you know, regular porn or whatever, that scene would just fucking come up in my head randomly and kind of just like disturb me, and then all of a sudden I'm really just not in the mood anymore, and I'm just kind of like, oh god, and I just stop, turn off the porn and just fucking go about, yeah, and just try to get this fucking scene out of my head. It's that it was just something about it. I don't know. Overall, it was disturbing, really graphic, really sexual, and disturbing, and traumatizing and haunting. It was just stuck in my fucking brain for way too long, and it kind of like ruined, like I said, sex and watching porn for a while for me. Like after I saw this, I kind of stopped watching porn because it kind of like I said, it kept like reappearing as like a traumatic moment or whatever in my head every time I try to watch porn, just because of the correlation of it being a love sex scene and everything. It just like it was just, yeah, really disturbing, traumatizing, and hard to get rid of. And thankfully, though, after a while of not seeing it and you know trying to distance myself from it and even thinking about it, eventually the scene left my head, and I was able to go back and do normal things like watch porn and think about sex without fucking thinking about that fucking scene. And it just, yeah. Thankfully, though, after a while I was, but still, this movie and that particular fucking scene disturbed me, traumatized me, and haunted me for many, many, many days and weeks, and maybe even a month or two after I watched it. And it just, yeah, yeah.